Welcome to the latest tutorial video on Photoshop, and today I wanted to talk about how to fix blemishes in photographs. This can be used when you're retouching a photograph, if you're doing portrait photography and somebody had a big honkin' zit on their face, and you can go into Photoshop and you can retouch that out. Or if you are doing photo restoration of damaged photographs, say your great grandma got coffee spilled on well, didn't get coffee spilled on her, but got coffee spilled on a photograph of her, and there's a blotch across her face because of that, or paint got splattered, or it got ripped, or whatever. This is a really great technique that you can use. That is basically one of the things that makes me believe that Photoshop has actually got some magic gnomes that live inside it. But before we get started, we have to start with a picture. And I recommend for copyright issues and so on and so forth, and being able to find good high-resolution images, that you go to morguefile.com. It's www.morguefile.com. And when you're there, you can put in a keyword search. And I'm searching for faces. And I have found a couple on here. I'm going to be using this one. And also I found this one. So those are the two that I'm going to use in this tutorial. So bear with me while we switch over to Photoshop. Okay, you can see now that I am in Photoshop, and I've downloaded those two photographs, and a little bit here on how to maneuver around within Photoshop. I have actually set the resolution of this particular monitor down to 800 by 600, which I never ever use except when I am in the world of video tutorials, so that you can see what's happening. But if you have to work in a small situation, then it's really good to have all of these various and sundry techniques up your sleeve. First thing to do when you open up a picture in Photoshop is to do Control-0, and that will take the picture and it will fill the available space with the picture, so you can kind of see what's happening. And that's all nice and wonderful if you want to see every last pixel. But you can see here I'm only seeing this at 17.2%, and that's not acceptable. So I'm going to make use of Photoshop CS3's new capability of just clicking to go back and forth between a long or a double toolbar. And if you come down here to your zoom tool, or your spyglass tool, whatever you want to call it, and you double click on it, that will show you the pixels at 100%. And here you can see I have a lovely view of, I believe this is the bridge of his nose, but that's not very helpful. I want to be able to see whatever I want to see in this picture. So hold down the space bar, and that will turn your cursor into the grabby hand, which then allows you, oh, that is just disgusting, actually, at this resolution. Anyway, it allows you, oh, this really is gross. Haven't looked at this particular picture this close up. This might be indeed a little bit too close to be able to do anything. Oh, look, he has pores in his skin. This is really gross. Anyway, but I can get up close and personal with this photograph and see what blemishes I might need to deal with. Control-0 or Command, if you're on a Mac, Command-0 will then take you back and forth. And since it was kind of scary, no offense to this guy, he actually has quite beautiful skin, but it was very scary looking at him at 100%, so I'm going to use my zoom tool, and I'm just going to zoom into the area that I want to deal with. And here we have an unfortunate bump. I don't know if it's a zit or just a mole, but it's rather irrelevant. I'm going to come over here in my toolbar, and you will notice, I think by default it's the spot healing tool. Yeah, spot healing brush. It's the one that's going to be directly under the slice tool. If you're in single mode, if you're in double mode, it's going to be directly under the crop tool. But if you click and hold that, you'll get to the patch tool. And the patch tool is magic. I'm sure it is actually not magic and nothing but some really great programming, but being the programming technophobe that I am, it is magic in my world. And the way I like to use this particular tool is to come over here where it says source by default or destination. And the way I think, the way my brain is wired is very odd, but it helps me if I pop that over to destination. And what you do is, this is very much like a magic wand, or sorry, not a magic wand, but a lasso tool, where I can come over here to an area that does not have the blemish, and I can make a circle. And then if I click on the middle of it, see how my cursor changes? Looks a little bit different. Click and drag and put it over the area that I want, and this is where the magic comes in, because I'm not going to just let go and it's going to be a chunk. I'm going to let go and it's actually going to blend into that destination area with the same kind of shading. So when I let go, bada bing, bada boom, Control D or Command D to deselect. And at this kind of zoom, you can see the edges where it actually got blended in. But if I do Control 0, when you zoom out to a fairly normal type view of this, you suddenly cannot see it. So if I do Control Z, or I'm going to do actually Control Alt Z or Command Option Z a couple times. There it was before. There's Control Shift Z, Command Shift Z, and there it is after. Okay? So that, in a nutshell, is how you can use the patch tool.